It's Thursday, January 6th, 2011. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, oldness.
Let's do this.
So remember way back we saw that movie, or we saw a trailer for it, that was the, a smart engineer becomes a terrorist and fucks everything up for everybody?
No, but
We talked about the movie.
we've talked about that idea.
Yeah, we talked about the movie. We wondered if it would do it. It was, I forget what the movie was called. I think it was Law Abiding Citizen.
All right.
So I watched it the other day.
Uh-huh.
That is what it was. It was a smart guy who is an engineer becomes a terrorist.
How about that?
Not that good, though.
The thing is, it's actually a well-known fact that most real terrorists actually have engineering degrees, but they're not engineers. They're not good at it.
Well, you're qualifying, though, because there's real terrorists, as in the ones that plan big attacks, and there's actual terrorists, as in the guys that light their shoes on fire, or...
They attack the local embassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, the movie was, I don't know, it's not worth watching. It starts out really good. The guy does the kind of smart things you'd expect an engineer to do if he wanted to be a terrorist. But step one, he got a little implausible at the end with the robot rocket launcher.
All right. Implausible.
And tunneling into solitary confinement.
Implausible.
And the fact that after he murders a bunch of judges and things, the feds don't just step in and the CIA doesn't just kill him.
Implausible.
Because they have him in jail. They know who he is. They could just kill him and they don't.
They would.
And it gets to the point where he's going to blow up the entire city of Philadelphia.
That's not possible.
Well, possible, but who cares?
Incredibly encouraged, but incredibly difficult. That's like those guys I'm going to poison the water supply. It's yeah, no, you're not.
It was obvious. He puts car bombs everywhere and stuff like that. But then it just gets a little dumb.
Yeah, there's no way one guy could put car bombs everywhere.
One guy could do a lot of what he did, but the way the movie played out, real government people, because the shtick was, I'm spoiling this whole movie because it sucks, was that it turns out what he was an engineer, right? He was an engineer for the CIA.
Oh.
And his job was low-touch assassinations, like tiny bomb and a cell phone kind of things.
Mm-hmm. So
the CIA tips off the cops, but the CIA doesn't just kill this guy after he's murdered 10 government officials. And so basically it was plausible in every regard except the fact that, one, nobody noticed the goddamn rocket launcher robot hanging out in the cemetery.
The thing is, in real, if someone like me, it would be a situation where it was a terrorism. They don't know who did it. There was incredible amounts of damage. That's the kind of terrorism you would have if really smart people. You would never know who it was.
Well, if they want to make a good movie along these lines, because basically the movie was trying to make this like a plausible reason for him to be that pissed off and also be a smart person. And it really, basically his wife and his daughter get raped and murdered in front of him, and then the people who do it get away with it.
All right.
So, yeah, but I feel like someone should make the same movie, but it's basically Anonymous that starts attacking people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a good movie there at all.
I think there is Smart Terrorist.
No.
You don't think there's a movie about Smart Terrorist?
No.
This is James Bond, but you get to watch the bad guy?
That would be a different story. Because at the end, James Bond comes in and blows him away. So I was at work today, and apparently he's doing construction on the floor above us.
They're doing masonry work again on my building. So
all I heard all day was sawing of wood.
Oh, every 20 minutes today, I hear...
And then, of course, a guy drops a whole bunch of 2x4s on the floor. Bum-ba-da, bum-ba-da, bum-ba-da. And then... It's good. And then not all day long, from the morning till the night. It was the worst.
I can think of worse things.
All right. Anyway, so I want to try something new for Thursday, right?
Oh, shit.
Because I got no news.
I got something new, too. So
I got news, but it's all Monday news because it's CES is going on right now. But anyway, I was thinking, what if, right, I geek-bited a book. It's not a book that's ever going to be book club, but I read it, so it might as well geek-bite, right?
Nah.
That's a good idea. So I'm going to do that right now. I read Locke Lamora book 2, which I know you have also read.
Let's not spoil it, but you know what? It was more of the same. I think he's a slightly better author in the second book. He's learned.
He definitely has more writing skills, but I think because you already know the characters and it's a sequel and the pirate part drags out a little bit long.
The pirate part becomes basically the book.
Yeah, I wish there was less pirate chapters, he
has a little too much of a tendency to kill every goddamn character.
Yeah, that too. Well, I think he's basically doing the superhero thing, right? He wants to return to as much status quo as possible at the end. So
Except
he can
the status quo of the first book, you can't go back to because he killed everybody.
No. But the status quo that was established at the end of the first book is the same status quo that was established at the end of the second book. You see, so every book will end with the same status quo.
Maybe.
And maybe not the final book, but every other book in between. But anyway, yeah, if you like the first one, the second one is more the same.
It is way up your alley. Also,
if you didn't like the first one, then don't read the second one.
But if you did not read the first one yet, the second one, for me at least, is proof that the first one's worth reading because the second one might be worth reading for you.
Yeah, it's
not a Hyperion situation.
No, it's not. Definitely not. But yeah, it's fun. Thieving and pirating, and the whole time you're like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? And then, oh my god, you see what they do.
There's a pretty good moment
there is
of
nothing,
comeuppance.
It doesn't leave anything unresolved. Once you finish the book, everything that was started in that book will end in that book. You're not left hanging for a future book for any of, the
I do.
plot
I enjoyed
points.
the whole book. I was trying to figure out what their angle was, what the original heist was going to be, and I did not figure it out at any point.
Mm-mm.
Like, I got hints, like with the repelling thing. I was like, all right, I think they're going to go out the window.
I mean, I figured it out once they used the cement. I was like, all right, there's nothing to do except the only things that they have described that they could possibly be heisting are these things.
Yep.
And then it was those things, and I was like, oh, really? That's lame.
But then again, that's just pretty good con.
It's not the worst, but...
Because remember, they were in this for fun, mostly.
Yeah. The thing is that they were in it for fun. I didn't know why they just didn't stick to their gambling situation, which was way more interesting than the pirate situation.
I think they have the Lupin situation, where once you've stolen everything and you're rich, you're bored. So what do? Steal.
Yep.
That's basically it.
And of course, they also have the Cowboy Bebop situation where you never actually get away with something big, so you always need money again. It's like, why can't we get a story where the rich guy, the thief, actually makes off with the big gold and he's super rich all the time?
I have a counterexample. In the first book, they're richer than probably anyone.
No, I think that you gotta look.
They already had all the money they could ever use.
See, I think what we need
and
is
they
we
tried
need to go,
steal more.
We got to read about Lupin the First. I have a feeling that Lupin the First,
Arsène Lupin.
He was the one who was mad loaded all the time.
It's French. I'm sure there's a translation.
Yep. I got a feeling. I don't know. It's just feeling.
I feel like I get a lot of the same stuff I would get from our Arsène Lupin book from watching the Leighton movie.
Maybe.
Minus puzzles, minus thieving.
I didn't watch that Leighton movie.
It was okay.
I'll have to check
I think
it out.
I geek bit it.
Possibly.
So in homage and honor to the topic we're going to do tonight, I found an article, trying my Thursday thing, related to that. It turns out there is, of all the indicators of how long you have left to live once you're already old, like once you're 50, 60, there's one that has been found, and this is one of many recent studies, but this one's pretty damn conclusive. That is the best indicator of how long you will live after you hit like 65, 75.
All right.
How fast you walk.
I walk real fast.
If you just take an old person...
Is faster better or worse?
The faster you walk, the longer you live.
I'm going to be like a zillion years old.
It's a straight linear thing.
What if Now, is it just how fast you naturally walk? Or can you intentionally speed up to live longer?
So... The article, I recommend you all read it and some follow-it stuff.
And what if I have longer legs, but I take less steps per second? Is it steps per second or is it meters per second?
I don't know.
It matters a lot.
So the deal is, specifically for people who are over 75, walking speed is a straight correlation, like a mile per hour is another X years of life. And it's pretty damn accurate.
I'm never going to be in the walker. I'm just going to keep walking fast as long as possible.
And canes, walkers, anything you've got doesn't matter. It's just how fast you ambulate when you walk normally.
That's it. Walking is called ambulating?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Ambulation.
I thought ambulance. I thought ambulation was going to the doctor.
Scott, if you are ambulatory.
Yeah, I thought that meant that you were in transport to a doctor.
It means you can move yourself about under your own power.
Oh, well, that's new to me.
Guy in a walker, guy in a cane.
I had the wrong definition of that word.
They didn't, however, use like wheelchair people. They didn't want to, deal with that.
Yeah, what if a guy's way fast in his wheelchair?
But for example, from the article, blah, 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 those who walked 1 meter per second, about 2.25 miles an hour or faster, consistently and significantly lived longer than others of their age and sex who walked more slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, this is just way out there speculation. I'm not going to argue there's any causation here, but New York City has, from many studies, the highest average walking speed in America, if not the world.
Mm-hmm.
New York City has one of the highest life expectancies in America. Now, they said that there is a small correlation that if you walk slowly and you try to walk faster on a regular basis, that you will live longer.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not nearly as strong and requires much more study to prove. But they argued that if you're trying to walk faster, you're probably exercising, you're probably getting yourself into better health.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's all these side arguments that it might have to do with outlook. Like, people who walk faster tend to have places to go. They tend to not be in a lot of extreme pain, or
Very clever.
Or they're in extreme pain, but they want to be where they're going more than they want to deal with the pain. Like, they're willing to put up with it. Also, just like hips and joints and heart, like everything goes into walking. So I thought it was a neat thing. So today on the treadmill, I determined that my average walking pace, like out in the street, if I'm just walking somewhere, is between 4.6 and 4.7 miles an hour.
All right.
My maximum walking speed, like if I'm in a hurry,
Well,
and
I
I'm not
walk
gonna
the
run,
same as you because you don't get away from me.
yeah, is 5.1 miles an hour. That is as fast as I walk unless I power walk,
All right.
which I don't power walk down the street.
Yeah, power walking's dorky.
It's fast, but as we learned from Will He Run, you run when you got to go somewhere.
Yeah. So, this would normally be a Wednesday kind of thing of the day. We're doing things today now, right?
No. Okay, now we're doing things of the day.
All right, now we do things today. So this would normally be a Wednesday thing of the day, right? I don't know if you remember, probably one of the most ancient things of the day, if it was even a thing of the day, is the website miotd.com, which is mechaimageoftheday.com, which is actually
very good website.
a website that continues to go with a mecha image every single day.
Whoa, I haven't checked it in like 2 years.
You've probably got 820 some odd mecha images that you can observe. Anyway, this is a similar site, right? It doesn't have one every day, right? But it has quite a few in its archive. It's only been going for a few months, and it's been going since late August, and each month it has quite a sampling. So the website is Fair Yes Vintage Manga, and it's mostly single scanned. It's not scans of the whole manga, right? It's like, here's the cover, or here's an inside page of vintage shoujo mangas, and you can see there are many pictures of crazy old mangas here.
Damn.
Yeah.
I want to read every one of those as far as I can see.
I know, they're all girly mangas, but the point is...
Yeah, you know what else was a girly manga? Half the manga we like.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I probably don't want to read all of these. I didn't say I don't want to read any. I said I don't want to read all.
Many.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, mad interesting pictures to be looking at. And also, here's something that appears to be somewhat Russian. Disco Churin Potau.
That looks like a real person.
It is. I don't know what's up with that.
I'm worried.
But yeah, lots of cool things to see here. It's a thing of the day.
So the Commonwealth of Virginia has done something I think
You
is
mean
pretty...
the state of Virginia?
They're a Commonwealth, just like I think Ohio's a Commonwealth. I forget.
So they're not, yeah, okay.
They're basically Commonwealth means we're a state,
Yeah.
but we call stuff different stuff for no good reason. Doesn't matter. But, oh, wait, no, Ohio isn't actually a state, remember?
That's right.
So
That's why you don't have to pay tax. If
the
you live in Ohio.
Commonwealth of Virginia's Department of Motor Vehicles are asshole killjoys. They have ruined one of the two great wonders of the license plate world. The first wonder of the license plate world, as you all know, is the famous Florida license plate that says ass orgy.
Yep.
Now, it actually said A55RJY, but the new Florida license plate had a big circular orange in the middle, and someone clever made an epic license plate that made it past the censors.
Yep.
Until one dude complained about it, and then they revoked it.
Assholes.
So Virginia, there's the second most famous license plate ever. Of course, not counting the
How come
fictional...
someone hasn't tried to make a free speech case out of this? Like, I'm expressing myself through my license plate number.
So the argument is that you can do that with a bumper sticker, and that the states can pick their own... The state cannot condone on its own. It can choose not to condone obscene language. But you're allowed to put a bumper sticker that says fuck or ass orgy on your car. You just can't get the state to have a license plate that does that.
But why? But the thing is...
And you know how they get around it? They don't actually, like, while they say, oh, we'll revoke obscene ones, usually the code says we have the right to deny or revoke any license plate at any time for any reason.
So just someone decides arbitrarily.
Yeah, but really, they only do it when people complain, and they really avoid any. I mean, I was trying to get my vanity plate when I was a kid in high school. They denied the first 20 things I told them. Half of them were deemed obscene, and half of them they wouldn't tell me why they denied them. I ended up on Arcadia because that was the bottom of my list, and I was running out of patience.
All right.
So I couldn't get Arborea, by the way.
Why not?
They wouldn't tell me why.
Okay.
So, because Arborea I figure more fun than Arcadia. So, someone in Virginia had a famous license plate that is simply EATTHE. Eat the.
All right.
Have you ever seen a Virginia license plate?
Does it have a V in the middle?
So, eat the on this license plate. It says Virginia at the top in crayons. On the left are two red, bloody-looking handprints. And on the bottom says kids first.
Virginia, eat the kids first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like you say. I think what that is, right? If it says kids first, that's probably one of those special ones.
Yes.
Right. Like like in New York, you can get the Pets one.
Yes.
You can get a Rangers or Mets or Giants.
But no, in Virginia here we got eat the kids first with two bloody handprints.
All right.
And the DMV sent a letter to the guy who has it. The letter is posted, basically saying, yeah, we received a complaint about your license plate, and it is hereby revoked. Fuck you.
Just keep driving with it. What are they going to do?
Arrest him, suspend his license.
Only if he ever gets pulled over.
Basically, you realize cops look up every license plate they see all the time.
And then you can at least keep it until your registration goes out because, they're going to...
They can just take it right then. They can demand he give it back.
They have to physically come and take it from you, though.
You know what? All I would do if I were him is take a picture of me holding it to prove that it was mine. I feel for you, dude. I'm sorry. Fuck Virginia.
That's right.
So we got a meta moment really quick. There will probably be one or two more Geeknights episodes before MagFest.
I think one.
Maybe two. We might have an episode to put up. But
MagFest is next week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days
January.
Of insane awesomeness.
13th through 16th, 2011. Thursday through Sunday in Alexandria, Virginia, in the middle of fuck nowhere at a hotel.
But if you go to YouTube to the MagFest channel, you can see awesome commercials that will convince you to go to MagFest.
You should go to MagFest or MagFest!
I haven't even been
there.
there, but I already feel the MagFest energies.
And not only that, many of our listeners see us at conventions, and you want to hang out with us. And usually, we brush you off. No offense to you. It's basically, we're busy. Like
Brim will brush you off.
Yeah, you will also brush people
off.
off.
I brushed off that was not a fanboy. Or fangirl.
Or a crowd. The crowds are the biggest thing. People don't know where we are, and then we do a panel. All our listeners come to the panel or hang out outside the panel, and then we have a mob, and we usually have to hide in the room until most of you go away. But
yeah, if you want to actually talk to us, you're much better off coming up when there's no one else there and using your balls.
Of steel.
Yes.
But at MagFest, we only have one lecture, and we're sitting on two additional panels.
Actual panels, not lectures or presentations.
The entire rest of this convention, I plan to alternate between drinking, sleeping, and playing board games.
I'm playing so many games, playing all the games.
Oh my God. And half the crew's going to be there.
If it's a game, I'm playing it.
Also, our friend John St. John's going to be there, and James Rolfe, who I've talked to once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool people, the angry video game nerd and such.
Oh, yeah.
So, losing should be fun, technical changes in game design, and achievements and metagaming.
Mm-hmm.
MagFest will also be at PAX East, but that's a ways away. This weekend, actually tomorrow, Friday, Nerd NYC Board Game Night. Next Friday and Saturday, Nerd NYC Recess. Details online. I will link to them.
Anything else can wait.
So,
and the book club selection.
Michio Kaku's Hyperspace, a book about 10 dimensions and stuff.
Not 11 dimensions?
Well, 10 plus time, I think. I think it's 10.
Not 9 dimensions?
As I recall, it is 10 spatial dimensions plus time.
Not 13 dimensions?
No,
How do you know exactly 10?
Because the math works. With 9, the math doesn't work. With 11, the math doesn't work. With 10, it's predictive, theoretically.
Theoretically. Okay.
It's a pretty cool. Basically, it is a layman's introduction to string theory in terms of what it actually implies if it's true and what the actual evidence is for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things like, all right, if this is true, then you know what? There's all these universes and dimensions, and here's what that means. Holy shit.
Check out this animated GIF of a hockey guy eating a waffle and then drinking.
I've seen that.
syrup.
That's a pretty good thing that the listeners cannot see. In fact, we don't even have a Ustream anymore. There's no way for them to see that.
All right.
So, I'm pushing 30. I'm getting old.
You are old.
Scott's getting old. We're both feeling the
I'm
effects.
not old. Only you old.
You're getting old.
I'm not old.
You are less than a year younger than me.
I'm less old.
Captain 1982.
Am I not less old?
Do I have to go low blow here? I got more hair.
That's all right. Hair
In
has
all-
nothing to do. You
in
know
all
what?
places.
You know what? Babies have no hair, but you know what? They're less old.
Also,
I'm closer
I
to
posit,
babydom.
I posit that yes, you are very much closer to babydom.
That's right.
However, while you are not old of body, you are definitely old of attitude in some ways. Mr.
Everyone-
Crotchety old man.
Who is
Mr.
not?
I've done that before. I don't need to do it again.
Who on this earth is not crotchety in a way or two, or
Who-
old-fashioned in a way or two?
Carl
because
Sagan. Carl Sagan at no
everybody-
point in his life was crotchety.
Everybody, inherits something from their parents.
You
and
inherited-
because your parents are older than you, everyone
Scott-
is old-fashioned
Scott,
in
for
some
example,
way.
I inherited my dad's face. I inherited my mom's eyes. You apparently inherited your dad's, Marla, get in the car. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's because I
Come
walk
on.
so fast. I'm in a hurry. That's why I'm gonna live to be older than you.
So you inherited old.
Okay.
Seriously, Scott's dad will his parents will come to visit us and we'll be hanging out.
Is this show about being old or is this show about Scott?
5 minutes. His dad's like, "We're gonna go yet? We're gonna have some food. When's the game on?"
All right. So,
But Scott, when you're the only one in the crew where when someone is mimicking the voice of someone else, it is pretty much just
all right.
Get off my metaphorical gaming lawn.
That's right. Punk kids.
We are getting old though. I mean, I realized that when I turn 30, I have at most everything I just did 2 more times and then I'll die.
Pretty much, Bob. But you know what? I'm betting on advanced technologies. Because think about it, right?
I saw an
What
article
was-
saying that 1 in 5 people who are alive today will reach 100.
Yeah, but think about this, right? So our grandparents, right? When they were 30, it was like what? The 50s maybe? The 40s or the 50s, all right? And the life expectancy then was what?
I don't even know.
Right, now it was
I
like,
didn't look up any research for
Yeah,
this show.
it was not much. So the life expectancy has gone way up over the course of their lifetimes.
but I've also read a lot of studies and things talking about the fact that the life expectancy of humans who survive, apparently from 50, 45, 50 to 65, that's the danger zone. Where if you don't die then, you're probably going to make it to 80, maybe 90. But if you die right then, it's pretty much just genetics or bad lifestyle.
Yep.
Even in the old days, a lot of people in ancient times would live to be 70, 80. But most people died when they were 1, or when they were 20, or when they were 50.
Yep.
Medicine only gets you so far if you're a fat ass, or if you just get bad genes, bad heart. What are you going
But
to do?
you know what? I go to the doctor, and the doctor say, you are in the flawless health. I predict I will be around very long. There'll be many Geek Nights.
That is the trouble. You're pretty much guaranteed to have your
Although
doctor.
it may eventually become Geek Night.
I think I'm going to outlive you.
Yeah, you wish.
Well, see, it's complicated by the fact that I'm much
You don't
more...
walk as fast as me.
Are you kidding? We just agreed that we walk at the same speed.
And you
You can't run as fast as me.
you went to the doctor. He's always got bad stuff to say.
Like what?
You got allergies and shit. You're always coughing up nasty phlegm.
Yeah, I got allergies.
Yeah, you got all kinds of illnesses over there.
No, I've got allergies. That doesn't
You'll
correlate
be
with
dead
life.
next year. You'll be dead before the iPhone comes to Verizon.
I probably will be dead before the iPhone comes to Verizon.
Because stabbings.
I'll bet you $500 it's not within the next 3 weeks.
Oh, no way. So now you're only going 3 weeks. You originally were saying 2012. Why don't you extend that bet to be 365 days?
$500?
Yeah, 365 days.
No, but are you gonna? Because you never bet. You never bet on anything.
There's a very strong evidence this time. I bet when I'm not sure.
Regardless, the thing that might fuck me is that I'm much more likely to die a catastrophic death than you are, I think.
Yeah, it's almost guaranteed.
I mean, I'm going skiing this weekend, most likely.
You're dead this weekend. That's
Maybe.
it. That's how it's going to happen.
Nah, the first ski trip of the year is always the cautious ski trip. Do I actually remember how to ski? Because at the end of the year, it's like I've been skiing all year, so it's like, yeah, let's go. The first time, it's like, yeah, the last time I skied, I stand there in the skis, I'm like, how do I turn? Like, what do I do when I'm up there?
You fall, you crash into a tree and die.
I'm looking at the lift. I'm like, how do I get on this fucking thing?
You don't. You fall off like those people did.
I saw a snowboarder jump off at Hunter Mountain last year.
Whoa.
Ski lift was
On
stopped.
purpose?
Yeah, he was like, fuck it, and he just jumped off.
Did he live?
Yeah, he snowboarded down. Well, he fell into a snowdrift, went, dug himself out, and then he snowboarded down.
Uh-huh.
Or for snowboard lingo, that means you go 10 feet, then you sit down on the slope and smoke pot. Fucking snowboarders.
Why does the ski people let them smoke pot? Why don't the cops just come there and round them all up?
Because you realize snowboarders to me are little more than speed bumps in my way.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, not to get into that
You
whole
haven't
thing.
talked. Meanwhile, you wanted to. It's your idea to do a show about oldness, and so far you can't even stay on
One
topic.
of the reasons I've picked up skiing as a sport is that when I'm skiing, I regularly see people who are in their 70s skiing better than I ski now.
Yeah, but they're either going as fast or they just going steadily.
Faster and better.
Uh-huh.
They actually have a lot of skill I do not have.
Well, the
yet.
speed of skiing, right, comes from gravity more so than it comes from pushing, right?
No, it comes from skill.
But I mean, the skill is not. It's not like running where you are providing the propulsion. You are just providing the steadiness and the balance, right? Which, years and years of practice. If you're an old person, you've been skiing your whole life, then you got that down. But if it was propulsion, like it was bobsledding, the old people might be able to keep it inside the little tube, but they wouldn't be able to go as fast because at the running start they would not have.
Yeah, but that's the same reason why I want to pick up racquetball again, because I see old-ass dudes playing racquetball way better than I play now. Because I remember as a kid, I was young, I was fast, but I was not skilled. I could run all the way to the corner and get the ball. My dad was not nearly as fast as me, but he knew where the ball was going to go.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty much, you look at all old people's sports, right? It's like racquetball, shuffleboard, billiards isn't exclusively an old person sport, but old guys love to play it, And
I realize almost no one we know plays pool.
Yeah, but I guess I can't even hit the ball.
Really?
Yeah. But those are all these sports where you don't need to have significant strength or speed. Like, you have to have enough, but it's all about the precision and the accuracy and these sorts of things, aiming and all these skills, but not aiming like in Counter-Strike, where you aim quickly. It's just aiming. So like in shuffleboard, you can take all damn day and you push it with just the right amount. It's all about control and these sorts of things that if you've lived a very long time and you practice a lot, then that is what you can be very good at. Whereas opposed to, say, something like, hockey, an old person not very good.
But one thing I'm really fascinated with is the fact that there's a good chance we'll live to see the year 2040, 2050, 2060.
Yep.
But I can't even imagine what the world is going to be like then.
No, it's not even bother. I just worry about today.
I mean, think back 60. What was going on 60 years ago? World War II. Oh, the end of World War II.
World War II was over.
1950, end of World War II. All the cleanup.
It was recent. It was recently over, but it was. It was.
Yeah,
over.
it was a recent memory.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. You don't have anything to say about that, old man?
No. When we're old, we're gonna say, "Oh man, what was happening 60 years ago?"
I don't remember.
Facebook. Whoa, remember that? Yeah, the cleanup afterwards.
The great Facebook wars of. I guess there's no more aughts. I'm kind of sad that we're out of the aught years.
Why?
I like saying like 2005.
You never said that.
I did.
You rarely said it.
Well, whenever I had an occasion to say a year, I would use aught.
No, you would say 2009.
Only on Geeknights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because it didn't sound right to say, I'm Rim and this is Geeknights, January 4th, 2005.
But meanwhile, we should say, according to people who have studied this, right? During the aughts, you're supposed to say 2000 end, right? But now that we're in the not aughts, you're supposed to say 2011. Because remember, we used to say, what year is it? 1998. We didn't say 1998. We said 1998. So now we should say 2011.
See, I don't think it's that we should. I think that's just what people do.
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Based on what?
Based on what linguists said on the internet.
What do you mean linguists said?
There was someone talking about it on the internet in an academic article.
Are you sure it was someone on the internet?
It was academic because the URL was the EDUs.
Are you sure it wasn't nothing?
I'm sure it was something. This show is so far not about oldness.
We've talked a lot about oldness. What I do wonder about is that
all you've done is bicker.
A big problem with the elderly today,
like an old person,
is that they get bored. Like how many, like every time I see retirement homes, or I'm in a retirement home, and I saw a lot of this when I was working for the hospital, like all these ancillary facilities and things. Everyone looked really bored.
Well, I mean, I see two extremes, right? I don't, of course, it's probably in reality, right, a wide, gray area, with all people all along the scale. But, from what I see old people who are either incredibly active or old people who are incredibly not active, right? For example, I got one grandma. She's doing something every damn day. You call her house, she is not there. She's doing something with her ladies, or she's going to the gym, or she's doing something every day, going to a book club. She is happening grandma. And then the other grandma sits in the house in Florida and doesn't do anything except watch TV, and only TV shows that involve police or detectives, right? And that's all she's doing. And she's very bored all the time.
Well, I read, prior to this, what got me thinking about the show was that I read a whole bunch of articles recently talking about the problem of elderly loneliness, that the current, pretty much from now. And
all your friends die, you don't make new friends, and then your spouse dies, and then you're alone.
And it's a huge
and
problem.
Your family, even if you had children and grandchildren, they live far away. Even if they don't, they're busy. They're not there all day. So it's 8 hours a day. You're sitting there. You don't have to go to work, so you don't have coworkers to keep you company. So you're just sitting there alone for at least 8 hours a day, and maybe like a nurse to keep you company.
But I mean, there's a lot of outreach. Look at all these programs of get young people to spend time with an old person.
Yep.
I feel like that will not be a problem by the time we are old because we have the internet.
Well, yeah, we will definitely, our generation definitely seems to be able to occupy itself with MMOs, if nothing else.
Dude,
right?
If nothing else, if no more entertainment media were ever made from now until the day I die and I live to be 100, I will never run out of books to read.
No, but you'll still
watch.
Right, but you'll still be lonely. You need people.
Yeah,
and if you have the internet though, then you kind of sort of have people.
Yes, but the internet will give me people for sure. There's no way it won't.
Yep.
What I don't worry about it, but we complain a lot about old people on Geek Nights and in our normal lives for people who know us. It's kind of we complain about old people all the time.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like, you look at different cultures, right, in the world approach old people differently, right? Like, especially in the Eastern nations, right? Old people are generally, respected because they are old and wise, or at least stereotypically so. Whereas in the West, especially in the U.S., we're sort of looking down on our old people, like they're a burden and a hassle, like, get out of here, old people. And
I think both are true to a degree.
Yes, both are true, but I think what's happening is, it is verily true that old people have wisdom from being alive so long. They know things that young people do not know, right? Anyone who's been around long.
Dude, we're old enough. Look at half our listeners in the forum who were like, I have this really bullshit problem in college, blah, or high school, blah, blah. We're like, we're old. We've been through that. Here's what you do. They're like, nah,
right.
nah, I'm not going to do that. You guys don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're old. We know.
Yeah, old people know. But at the same time, right, I would point out that recent Dilbert comic, right?
Don't hit me with your modem.
Don't hit me with your modem, right? Is that the world is changing so quickly that even an old person who has wisdom of age and experience, that wisdom may no longer be correct or useful because just the world has changed so much that it's no longer true. It's like if I told you, hey, yeah, at the beginning of Mario 1, you want to jump on that Goomba, but then a new version of Mario comes out where it's a spiky instead of a Goomba. And then I'm an old person. I'm like, oh, you got to jump on the Goomba instead of in Mario 1. But the kids would be like, all right, Grandpa, we got Mario 1 Super All-Stars Deluxe, and I jumped on it, but it was a spiky. What the fuck happened to my world? That's not real, Mario. I'll be a cranky old man.
Yeah, we'll be cranky and old about video games, I think.
Exactly.
Of course, I'm hoping that even as my body fails me, even if I can't get electronic immortality, I at least want VR. I want to be able to sit in the Catgirl machine for my remaining days.
All right, go for it. It's all you.
I got plans.
But anyway, yeah, but it's like, we complain about old people, but when we're complaining about old people, usually what we're complaining about...
Well, it has very little to do with actual age in many cases.
Right, it has to do with an old attitude of people who have wisdom or experience or knowledge or they're, most people are averse to change for, an older time or a previous thing, and the world has passed that by, right? It's a different world now. And rather than update to the new world, they try to pull the world back to the way it used to be.
Oh, you mean like, why are you kids playing these stupid console FPSs? We played real FPSs like Counter-Strike.
Why you listen to that jazz music? Why you listen to that rock and roll music? Why you listen to that rap music? Why you listen to that, techno music, right? It's like, hello.
I don't even know what the controversial music is right now.
There isn't any.
Yeah.
Thank God. But anyway, the thing, the point is, it's like, look, some people keep up with the times, and some people, regardless of their age, they're 30-year-old people who I consider to be old people because they have this attitude of, the world, some older world is better, and we should bring back progress to a previous, they insist on holding these ideas that might have been good in a previous world, but the world has changed, and they still stick to their old ideas rather than updating to the new world. And that's what I'm talking about when I complain about most old people.
Well, this is why I think we'll be okay, because I feel like a lot of people when they get older, it's like they forget what it was like to be a kid, or they forget like.
Well, no, the thing is, even if they remember what it was like when they were a kid, isn't what it's like to be a kid now. It's different.
But then some things are fundamentally the same, and they just forget. Like, how many old people basically don't want kids to go out and have fun?
Yeah, right.
I mean, how many old people who say that?
It's not that they don't want. It's not that they don't want the kids to have fun, right? It's like, oh, kids are having fun. That's nice. Until the kids make noise, which bothers them. But it's like they care about themselves before they care about the children, right? When they were children, they would make noise, and those old people in those days would be bothered by the noise. But they didn't see that part because they were children at the time. And now the only part that they notice is the part where this noise is bothering me, and they don't recognize, look, these children need to play.
But see, I think we straddle a kind of progressive middle ground in that I still prefer and can articulate why I think, like, for example, older PC FPSs and things like that are better. But at the same time, or like, my experiences with old school gaming.
But you're not
I always qualify things by saying, yes, the experience I had playing DOS games and having to figure it all out made me a better person. But no way in hell should the world go back to that BS.
Hell no. I mean, like, if someone wanted to learn about, that was what they wanted, I would tell them, all right, then go and do it. But I'm not saying, yeah, we should have DOS on every computer. It's like, what you're talking about? Everyone should drive stick shift. It's like, fuck no.
I mean, of course, I wonder if we'll even be able to retire, because it seems like retirement, for as new an idea as it is already kind of obsolete. Like, very few people, I think, have the means to save for a real retirement, especially if, you want to retire at 65 or 70 and you live 20 more years.
Yeah.
How are you going to save money to live 20 years?
Well, I mean, basically what happened, right, is we had a country where people weren't really that well off. Everyone worked crazy hard. There was a depression. They worked crazy hard, right? And because they worked crazy hard and kept working crazy hard for a couple decades, they made so much monies, and they were so good, relatively speaking, it was never perfect, right? That they were able to have things like, they were able to afford things like pensions and these sorts of things. And then
part of that was an old world structure of, working at a company forever.
Yep. But then they tried to hold on to these things even as they could no longer afford them over great periods of time. And eventually, because they tried to maintain or increase the standard of living, when the economy would not really keep up and support it, and, people started buying things they couldn't afford and living in a big house when they had apartment money and having a pension when they had, barely 401k money, now.
But having a pension is a great thing as long as it continues to exist.
Yeah.
The pension problem is more just that, the world of work has changed.
Yep. I mean, it's basically, right, they spent all this money and now there isn't enough money. And the other thing is, on top of that, people lived longer and they were retiring at the same age. So not only, right, did we need to save more money and make more money, which we weren't doing, but it would cost even more money to pay for people to retire. So the cost of the retirement was going up, and mathematically it's just not working out.
So, I mean, personally, I'm saving. Like, I have a 401k.
Mine's actually doing real well. I got three. I got to combine them together.
And I'm putting money into it, a decent amount of money, but I'm not banking on it.
No, I'm not expecting to live off of that. Basically, the reason I do it is because it's easy. I can. You should.
Yep.
And if you look at the numbers, it's totally working out. But you can do cool stuff with it. Like, you can take a loan. You can loan that money to yourself, pay it back with interest, but you're paying the interest to yourself, right? You can do cool stuff like that, which is very useful. And especially since I started it so early, it has a pretty good chance of success unless it's Hokuto no Ken, in which case it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty much, though, assuming that there will be no Social Security when I'm 70.
Oh, hell no.
There's no way that will continue to exist. My money's going into it, but I'm pretty much considering that a
by
tax.
law, it's going into it. I have no choice. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is a rough situation because it's like, okay, someone's an old person now, right? They are incapable of working, or, even if they could work, it's like they couldn't work well. What job are they going to do? All right. They're not going to make really enough money. So they can't work, but we're not going to kill them. Right. And their kids aren't so rich that their kids can just pay to take care of them forever. Or maybe they don't even have any children. Who knows? So what does this person do? Well, they can, live within their meager means. If their Social Security goes away, they might not have, any continued income. They just have the money they have, and that's it for the rest of their life. And what if they live really long? What if they need an expensive medical procedure? What do?
I think we'll have socialized medicine by the time I'm 70.
I don't know.
If we don't, this country's fucked.
But even if you have socialized medicine, it's like that's only going to pay for some things. You can't pay for everything. So, if you got something normal like the flu, it's like you're all right. You got pneumonia, you're all right. You broke a leg, you're all right. Oh, you need like a whole hip replacement. Well, maybe. You got weird cancer in a weird place. Well, now what?
Yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't have been able to save enough money to deal with that anyway.
That's true.
So I basically can't do anything about it.
Yep.
Of course, we do have the advantage that we're both very well off. And I feel like I worry that in the next 30, 40 years, retirement is going to move further and further into something that is only within reach of the upper middle class and the wealthy.
Well, no, it's pretty much, anyone who's employed, I think, is going to be able to retire. The thing is,
a lot of people who are employed, Scott, make, $40,000 or whatever a year and can live off of that, but can't afford to contribute enough to a 401k to actually retire 20 years of their life on it.
Yes. What are you going to do?
Yeah, what do you do? And how easy will it be to get a job when I'm 70?
Impossible.
That's why I'm not worrying about it at all.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it besides, save some monies for yourself.
Yep. And I'll save enough money to where if, I think I'm going to live another 10 years and I'm running out of money, I don't know, blaze of glory, wander off somewhere, go to Costa Rica, do something crazy.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like when we retire, it's like, well, now it's like the vacation we've been waiting for. The thing is, I don't know, we should retire at the beginning of the life, not at the end of the life.
Yeah, so imagine this. So you get to live basically Logan's
Wasted
run.
youth.
Logan's run until you're 40, and then you got to work the rest of your life.
I would just kill myself.
I think a lot of people would
work.
just kill themselves.
Yeah. Or not work and just be like, screw you, I'm not doing it.
What are you going to do, make me? Haha.
Put you in jail. where I kill myself.
That's why I'm not focused so much on my old age. I'm basically enjoying now and planning minimally and nominally for the next 60 years of my life.
Yeah. I wonder what, it's like, I've talked to really old people, but like, what are the people who are like 60 something like now who are almost retiring? Like, or maybe like the people who are going to, like the late 50s people. It's like they're going to retire soon, maybe. It's like, what are they?
I mean, the retirement age is already pretty much going up to 70.
And they got things to pay off, like, they're paying off things like their kids' student loans, or if they
also, there's the fact that the life expectancy in the U.S. dropped.
Oh, yeah, recently.
In the past cycle, due almost entirely to obesity.
Fat people.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's getting to be, the
maybe
status
we'll be
quo.
okay. Maybe all the fat people from our generation will die young, and then there will be enough money for the rest of us to retire on.
Yeah. I just think the status quo of retirement is changing.
I think
the change upsets old people, and young people deal with it.
I don't even think it's that. I think, take it a step further, I think by the time we're at retirement age, the world social order will be unrecognizable compared to what it is today.
Yeah,
at least
much.
in terms of the economics of retirement.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we live to be 100, it definitely will be. Think about what it was 100 years ago in 1910. The world social order was completely different.
Well, World War I.
Yeah, the world social order was completely different in 1910 than it was in 2010. So if we live, to, let's see, we're born in 82. So in
2060, 2070?
in 2082, it's going to be completely different. It's not even going to be even close to what it is now.
Especially, I mean, the rate of change, I think, is faster now than it was then.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
I mean, look at how much the internet changed, I don't know, in the last 2 years?
Yep.
10 years ago, there was barely an internet. 20 years ago, there basically wasn't an internet.
Yep.
I look forward nominally. I don't look forward to getting old. I still think aging is a disease that we should treat. I don't, I'm slower now than I used to be.
But then you have to worry about, like, well, there's not enough resources on Earth to support, the number of people continuing to make new people if nobody dies.
So let's go crazy. I would be okay. Say we solved aging to where you age to 22 and there is no degradation from that point ever.
All right.
You're just perfect. You get 120 years and then they kill you.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not?
Because you can't, the other option is the ultra rich will live forever and they'll prevent anyone else from getting the resources to do so.
Repo, genetic opera.
But how about this? So you get 120 years no matter what. As long, and then at the end of 120 years, and have some sort of thing, like, they have one kid or, let's forget the specifics of that part.
China.
When you're 120, you can appeal your death. And it's just a worldwide referendum or some sort of system where you vote.
It's a little retarded.
Why not?
It's not going to work.
Technology could make that happen.
Yeah.
Where you have to say,
I don't think the system is really going to work.
You have to make the case to a court to say, look, I think I deserve another 120 years, and here's why.
Yeah, the system is not going to work.
All right, give me a system.
We don't let anyone be immortal.
So we have to deal with all the bullshit of aging that is just basic. There's no reason to suffer through it. We should suffer through the effects of age, even if we can prevent them.
Well, it's either if it's, you're basically saying it's either one person or every person, right? It's like, well, we can all suffer a little or everyone
dies.
It's
not a little. Aging sucks ass. I would rather live the same amount of time that I'm going to live now.
Yeah, aging sucks ass. How does aging compare to Hokuto no Ken?
But Scott, what if I'm going to live 80 years anyway, but I'm in perfect health for those entire 80 years?
Hey.
I would rather accept a time limit and live those years awesomely.
So when they come to kill you when you're 80, you're just going to be like, all right.
Maybe. or I'll try to run, and you know what? I won't get away. No one gets away from the runners.
Yeah, okay. Your plan's a little crazy.
It's not that crazy.
Crazy.
We gotta be transhumanists.
You're a crazy person.
I hope it's not too late.
Why don't you keep it realistic?
We might be on the edge of not getting immortality, but we might see immortality.
Yeah, someone younger than us?
Yeah. What if we're 90? They're like, we've perfected
At least I won't have to be around to see them, fill the world with too many people who can't eat anything because there's no food left.
But maybe they won't need to eat because they've done the Michio Kaku thing.
I'm glad to say I won't see a world with no delicious food.
Maybe they have infinite delicious food due to Diamond Age.
Then I would be living in that world. Hooray.
And dying of old age?
No. I would replace myself with a diamond person.
It'll be interesting to see how the crew maintains over the years, because when we're 80, I can imagine us still playing Counter-Strike.
Yeah, odds are not everyone will make it that far.
Yeah. I think we got about 30 years is when we're going to see the do or die time.
And the thing is, I don't know about playing Counter-Strike, because while Counter-Strike has been around for a decade, right? Think about how incredibly difficult it is for us to play Tribes 2, right? If Steam is going to be here in 80 years...
We'll have to play Tactical Intervention instead.
I mean, how are we going to play Counter-Strike?
I imagine we'll be playing some sort of video game.
Something. I mean,
plus, it'll be fair. We're old men with
we're already seeing at CES, right? They're talking about Windows 8 on ARM CPUs. Counter-Strike will never run on an ARM CPU, ever.
But at the very least, we'll be able to play games fairly. Or board games, those don't go obsolete. As long as I can move, I can play Puerto Rico.
That's true.
And it's actually not that infeasible that we'll solve every German game we care about in our old age.
Possible. Computers will become so advanced that they will solve them the way they solve checkers.
So if computers do that, would you still play German board games?
It depends. I would have to make a better game.
What if every game you design, a computer gives you the answer before you finish it?
It depends if P equals MP or not.
What if it doesn't matter?
It does matter.
What if it doesn't matter somehow? What if quantum mechanics, like quantum computing, just fixes that? We just solve everything.
But if quantum computing is there, then we know the answer. That P is NP.
Yeah.
Otherwise, even it doesn't matter. If P's not NP, a quantum computer ain't going to help you.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.